Horizon Gents 1 CG reaction, and this is why Britain use separate hot and cold taps by the channel Tom Scott. Yeah, this is the question are raised when I don't know which video I've watched where they mentioned that British uses separate taps. I'm like, why not use mixtures? Somebody pointed out in the comments that it's because the old houses had that and people just continue using that, but lots of houses now have mixtures or something. It's an old thing, but clearly it's a majority of houses has hot and cold taps. Then again, lots of houses in Britain are kind of old, really old heritage type of designs and things. So yeah, but still, why not change it? So this channel will tell it. Tom Scott, he has 3.7 million subscribers, so clearly this is a great channel. People say that he covers lots of scientific topics like about computers and how dynamite works and things like that. I don't know, I only reacted to one video from him. It was great about the plug thing, why British plugs are awesome. And yeah, I also checked my plugs in my houses. Some plugs are like that, clearly some plugs in here like D types or M types, some plugs adapted from that British design. But yeah, I love that British innovation in that. The smallest thing, they thought of smallest thing like what if baby puts a finger inside the socket, so let's design something that. What if somebody pulls the wire, let's design like that. Let's put fuse there. It was just awesome. So yeah, let's watch this one. And remember people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out our reaction date, there's a link in the description. Check out the cast for the playlist like CGP and different Kuzgazar, real life lore, things like that. Check out the end cards. And yeah, let's watch this one.
The mixer tap. Brilliant invention, and yet something that seems to have passed Britain by. You'll get Americans coming over here and asking why our taps look like they're from the 1940s. And even here, in my parents' bathroom, I'm visiting my folks this weekend, they just had a new bathroom put in. Separate, hot and cold.
What was that?
I'm visiting my folks this
Installing update 51 or 54 Windows 8.1. What does this have to do with anything?
weekend. They just had a new bathroom put in. Separate, hot and cold taps. And there are all sorts of theories out there about why that might be, generally revolving around, well, we're British and stiff upper lip and, we don't need mixer taps, we've never had them. Generally revolving around, well,
British taps on hot or cold, rarely both.
we're British,
Okay.
stiff upper lip. And
The British are quite happy to wash their hands with cold water. Maybe it's character building. Feels like a bit of patronizing from this journal.
we don't need mixer taps, we've never had them. And, well, that's partly true, but it
Felt like there was a bit of sarcasm there or something. But yeah, I mean, it could be old design, but still, people using it today, it must be problematic. Like, what if hot water is too hot, cold water is too cold? How do you use that? You need a mixture, right?
also goes back to how houses in Britain were constructed after World War II.
There you go.
In most old British houses, there's a cold water storage tank up in the attic. It's reasonably sized, about 250 litres, and that in turn feeds a hot water storage tank that's for the central heating and for hot water in the bathroom and the kitchen and so on.
This means the heating isn't directly connected to high pressure mains. Oh, okay.
But the trouble is, that might not be entirely safe drinking water, because that cold water storage tank in some houses that weren't properly maintained might have been open to the elements, or silted up, or covered with iron rust, or in one particular case that you can read about, have a couple of dead rats floating in it. That water might technically not be.
Look, I get it. Yeah, Britain, UK, London, developed country, everything's so pristine. You don't need water filters, you're gonna just drink out of the tap. But man, you have to maintain things. You have really old houses. People were actually drinking water which had dead rats in it. How are they not sick, by the way? How are they not hospitalized? Look, in India, I don't know if the water here is filtered or not, but I never drink water without putting a proper water filter in house, right? I have best technology water filter in my house. I don't drink water otherwise. Now I'm pretty sure nobody does like that in here, because probably water is not drinkable or something, or maybe it is, I don't know, but I don't do that.
Drinkable, and under the regulations, I looked up the regulations, it is not counted as drinking water. The cold, meanwhile, at least certainly in the kitchen and sometimes the bathroom too, the cold water comes straight from the mains. That counts as drinkable. So here's the thing, you have cold, safe, the regulations call it wholesome drinking water, and you have, well, almost certainly safe, but not technically, not legally under the regulations, hot water. And never the twain shall meet. If you have a mixer tap, then technically the unsafe hot water, in worst case scenario where there's a backwash valve failure and the mains turns off, that unsafe water could go backwash through all the systems and go out to contaminate the rest of the street or the rest of the water system. That's not legal, therefore no mixer tap. You don't cross this.
Now understand. Your main water that comes from the, I don't know, some main water system from your city or something, that is clean and pristine. That's drinkable water. While the hot water you get is come from your overhead tank that you have in your house, which could not be, sanitary or something. Could have dead rats on it or something. And that's why you don't have a mixer tap. That makes sense. Because first time I heard, like, okay, I get it, it's an old thing, old houses has that, but why not change it? I mean, British changes a lot of things. I mean, British are not one of those people who like, you know what, that's just way too much hassle, let's not change it. They changes their dollar, their pounds and things lots of time when king and queens gets changed or something. So I'm like, why not just change it? But because of this, because it's a health issue. But why not make a system where you just, make sure your overhead tank is clean and use water from the mains, use a pump to, I guess, put it on top of your tank and use that for hot water, and that is clean in the end. Maybe that's way too much work. Yeah, in this sense it works, I guess. But still, it is an issue, isn't it? When you can't control hot and cold, isn't that going to be an issue? Hot is too hot, cold is too cold. Isn't that going to be an issue? I don't know. I'm pretty sure lots of people would have mixtures too, where they know they're just going to use it for cleaning purposes and not going to use for drinking. But in the sink and things like that, you might have two. Makes sense.
The streams. Nowadays, of course, it's a little bit different. This house had its hot water tank ripped out a few months ago. The attic is now just a big empty space again. And, well, there's a very modern, shiny bit of technology downstairs that heats up water on demand. All new build houses go this way. They've got mixer taps. It'll be absolutely fine.
There you go.
But I remember being told as a kid, never drink from the hot water tap. And that stuck with me. Even now, if there is a mixer tap and I want to drink from it, I will run the cold water for a few seconds just to make sure that anything that's unsafe has come out of it. Even now, old habits die hard, and sometimes these things just feel a bit safer.
Yeah, obviously that's gonna stuck with you. But yeah, it makes sense. New technology, underground, on-demand burner, I guess. But here's what I'm thinking. I get it. It's just something that stuck with you. But the mains that water comes from, the city water plant or whatever you have, how do you know they're keeping that clean? I mean, you never know. You never know. Some people could be incompetent or something. You don't know who's in charge right now. So what if there's an issue that nobody knows and everybody's drinking contaminated water? You don't know. If anything, the water that comes from your underground burner that you put in, that's going to heat up the water good enough that even if there is something there that could make you sick, the heating of the water would basically clean it at a certain level. So if you really think about it, that's even safer to drink the hot water. I don't know. But yeah, I understand now why the separate taps, because at first I was confused. This is a good channel, man. I've never come across a video that explains like this about this topic. I saw this title recommended to me and I'm like, oh hell yes, I would react to this. Because I remember reacting to a video who said this, like they have separate tabs. I'm like, what the hell? So yeah. Alright people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the Rick Saturday. There's a link in the description. Check out the cast for the playlist. Check out the end cards, and I'll see you next time.